Wait for my thumbs up. This is.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. Like that was a long 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
All right, we good now?
Yes.
All right. All right, good people. Into day 1. How you guys feel?
Pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I guess we should give you guys should give yourself a hand for completing this. All right, so even though the reason why we structured it this year this way is because we really want to see skills and talent and also help develop them as well. I mean, we're a learning institution, right? And so the reason why we're going to have you go through this process of a different challenge every day is so you can actually see what happens when you submit a design and a corporate structure. It's never going to be the first one that you submit. There's always going to be people giving you feedback and insights and input of how to make it better. Hopefully you're trying to make it better as well. As a designer in a company, your goal should be to keep trying to make it better until they tell you you can't. And that's usually a deadline of when you have to send it out. So just because you did something at one point, you should always keep trying to revise it to make it better with insights and help from people that hopefully are knowledgeable and giving you solid feedback. But at the same time, you deciding what's the best thing for your work, okay? So today, we went over proportions and hand rendering. And as you guys saw this morning, you were handed the last profile, and you saw, some of you, how your shoe didn't fit the last shape, and the importance of drawing with the last in mind. Now, we did that intentionally, where just so you guys can see kind of what the last shape would look like and how you have to revise things. Typically, if you're doing it in real time, you will have a last shape that either you're drawing off of or you have a last shape that you're familiar with, so proportion won't be as far off as it was for some people. But talk to me about what was it like to see your shoe not fitting that last and how it had to alternate shape. Yeah.
At first, I was pretty shook.
Okay.
It's like it was way off from the way that I drew it, because usually my proportion is pretty stylized.
Yeah.
But also because of that, I kind of learned to question the reality that was given to me.
Yeah.
And then with the technical help and expertise, we're able to play with the form and begin to cheat it and begin to push it further. So I'm kind of it was kind of like a gift and curse that it didn't fit the last at all. So,
Now you'll see the difference. You've seen the difference between what you submitted and what the revised shape looked like. Does it look more realistic?
Oh yeah, definitely. Not that you should fit your
Put a foot in it?
Yeah.
It's kind of important if you're making a shoe, right? A little bit. Anybody else? Any surprises, disappointments?
I mean, I was slightly bothered just by the ankle collar. So the last went in, it made the width of my ankle collar so much greater than it was previously.
Yeah.
So it's like seeing my shoe with essentially with the foot in it. It just looked really fat.
Yep.
But I'm thinking it's more of a material thing for me, because I know with the material on my collar, once the last comes out, it'll shrink back to size and it'll look like what I had in mind.
Once you take the last out and you put a foot in it, it's going to shrink. The last collar opening is much wider than a human leg.
Yeah.
And that's done on purpose because they want a last is a general shape of a foot, right? It's a general shape, and it leans on the wider side, just so it could fit multiple shapes. If it was too narrow, then you would have a fit adjustment probably. So whenever you do a shoe based on the last, the ankle opening will look considerably larger than what it would in real time when the foot is actually in the shoe. The other areas will be somewhat proportionally more correct, but the ankle part is the part that is the biggest difference, especially if you're used to creating stylized sketches that you want to look a bit more sleek and refined. I've never seen a refined, sleek looking shoe on the last, ever. because it's just more of the realistic of what it needs to look like for them to build it. But once it's actually on the foot, then it changes. I personally draw with the foot in it. So I don't draw shoes based on the last. I draw with the foot, how it looks with the foot in it. And it's only a slight modification when the last has to go into it. So it's not overly stylized. Where I know, like, Canada, you had like crazy heel rake, where when you saw how it got straight, as soon as you put it on the last, it went straight vertical. Where it looks cool when it's leaning forward, it looks good when you have all this, it looks good until you get it in real time. It changes, totally changes. But that's normal though. You know, you have, I think as designers, you start off doing it the way you guys are doing it, with stylized, fast, quote unquote, faster sketches. And then once you get in and you start doing your Illustrator line art and you start to see vertically how it looks, then your stylized sketches are still stylized, but they're a bit more accurate visually. So the stylization of what you create is still there. It's just a bit more realistic than what you started with. All right, give me some more feedback on today. You guys had 8 hours, 9 hours? Is that 8 or 9? 8. 8 hours. You guys eat?
Nah.
So you sat there for 8 hours and then you eat. That's what happens. For real. That's why the majority of the time you work in a company, you eat lunch at your desk. You get enough time to go get it. Hopefully it's not crowded. The best time to go to get lunch is at 11:30 or at 1:30. Because there's too many people between 12 and 1. So you want to go before people get there so you can get in and out of line and back at your desk. Because you're going to eat the majority of your time at your desk. The majority of the time you're going to eat lunch at your desk. But you guys didn't eat.
Some granola cups.
Yeah, see? This is fuel, dude. You were able to walk over there.
Definitely elixir.
That's why the red lines are there. It's sugar. Sugar. Sugar is good. So you didn't get up, went straight through 8 hours. What else?
Went by fast.
It did, didn't it? Even though there was a clock sitting up there.
It was just jumping.
How did the perspective change on when you had to do your other views? Some of you did orthos already. You did your orthos already, but some of you didn't do orthos. When you did your other views, did it help you see the lateral a bit more clear when you do the other orthos? Any surprises? Yes? That's because everybody else was a mute.
What?
Yeah, you just that's true. Yeah, this one, that one, that one, and that one. That.
Well, I don't think that the design was something that I had to do new for the other views, because I did some already, but when doing stuff full scale, like it changes a little bit. And then like when you do a redesign on a different part, that affects the other views as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Drawing actual size is different than drawing a little small one.
yeah.
Where you can camouflage little flaws and lines and shapes. But when it's in real time and every millimeter counts, it's a bit different. It's a bit different. And you guys will decide how you want to create. Like I would draw about this big naturally, and then I would scale it up on a copier. And then I would just retrace the shape because it's going to be disproportionate. And then I would scale it up, readjust the proportion, and then redraw the shape. So I would always draw about 5 inches wide, photocopy it, scale it up, and redraw. That's the quicker way to do it. It's a much quicker way to do it. It takes a lot of time to draw an actual size. A lot of time to draw an actual size. When you start working at a company, you'll start to realize little tricks to save time. French curves are not allowed in this establishment. So, and those of you who use French curves, you should be ashamed of yourself because that's cheating. That is cheating. There's no curves on a refrigerator, dude. How do you use a curve? Why do you use a French curve?
You can. I have.
Oh, the handle, but that's not even a good curve. Oh yeah, maybe a French refrigerator. Yeah, maybe they have more curves and shapes. But no, you guys shouldn't use tools. You shouldn't need tools.
I personally don't, just for the record.
Oh yeah, but you want to ask for it. And they will try to back you up and justify that it was okay for you to use a French curve. This is not okay. You know it's not okay to use a French curve in here. Why would you need a French curve if you can draw and see? Move the paper. Move the paper. It's cheating. French curves are cheating. Don't go out like that. That's weak. Like, how old are you?
26.
Do you have training wheels on your bike? That's what French curves are. You roll around with the Nike bike outside with training wheels on it. That's what French curves are. All right. So you guys now have to render. So you guys have to render over again.
Yeah.
In shorter period of time this time, right?
And that was one thing with me was looking at all the work and then trying to like manage it, saying like, okay, like where should my priorities be? How much time should I spend on this? How much time should I spend on that?
Yeah.
So it was more of a time management concern and like, where should I put like the lion's share of the time to sort of get everything done.
That's the reality of what's going to happen in real time. You're going to get a job, man. You're going to have to prioritize all of the feedback that you receive and how do you organize it in the quickest, most efficient manner.
So I'm gonna add to that too, is like the decisions that I've made also kind of stacked up. I feel like my skills couldn't catch up. Because like by the end of it, I'm like, man, I gotta do these dragon scales or whatever, what was I thinking?
Oh, yeah,
So
see?
it all kind of stacked up.
Oh, just wait until, who was it, Bow? Yeah, Bow. Oh, that outsole, you're going to be hurting. You and you are going to be hurting. You're going to be hurting in a few days. It always seems like a really good idea when you're drawing it until you have to explain to someone how to build it. Then you'll start to see how, like, why did I do that? You'll start to see why. Why? I wouldn't discourage you. It just means when you draw, just know that it's going to be a pain in the ass to do a blueprint. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. It looks good, though. It looks good.
Yeah, because it's for me, I start the pattern with the storytelling stuff. I want you to kind of fit my scene. So I'm not sure. I don't think I'll achieve that.
I'm telling you that not to make you simplify your work in the future. Just know that if you're going to make a commitment, it's going to be a commitment at the end as well. I remember when I one of the first times I went overseas, I had to learn how to sew on a kid shoe. A kid shoe, super small.
Yeah.
So that was the lesson that they taught, was like, learn how to sew at every half inch and turn. Every half inch and turn. So you start to get a hold of the pedal, and your hand-eye coordination has to happen a lot quicker. Sewing an adult shoe is really easy. Kid shoe, super hard. Super hard. I should tell Jerry that. He should teach upstairs. I forgot about that. Teach how to make kid shoes. If you make a kid shoe, you can make anything. You can make anything if you can make a kid shoe. Because it's so difficult to play with that machine in these small curves and angles.
So I think the shoes are toddlers.
No, it was a size 13 and a half, which is the sample size for kid shoes. One of the sample size for kid shoes, so 13. It's about that big. It was a lesson in having too many overlays. Had a lot of overlays. Well, the project they gave me had a lot of overlays. So I didn't design it that way. They gave me a project with overlays. So it was a lot of starting and stopping. It was extremely frustrating. All right, anything else from today that you didn't expect, wasn't prepared for?
I wasn't prepared yesterday how many changes we decided to make for today. So if I came in with my original design and then went through all this, it would have been fine. But since like I had to make changes and then we had to talk about them and then I had to apply those changes and do all these drawings, that was like very unexpected.
In real time, there's like 4 of me giving you feedback at a company, and only 1 of me is actually a designer. So you would get feedback from your marketing team, your development team, and they're telling you things from different perspectives. The developer is telling you factual things of how to build it. The marketing person is giving you more subjective things from a consumer relevant point of view. And then hopefully your design director or your other designers are giving you design feedback to improve the design, to make the design a bit more interesting. Where you have to balance all those people. You have to weigh what's most important, whose feedback is most valuable. You have to weigh all those things and still do it. So you have to get all the information, digest it, and then still deliver. Still deliver. That is very, very good. Well, sometimes there's 3 shoots you got to do in the same day. In the same day, you got to do the same exact thing you just did today, times 3. Times 3. So if you knew that, think about what efficiencies would you have done differently. Like what areas would you have saved time on? What areas would you have not, well, maybe what areas would you have not wasted time on? Let's put it that way. Because I'm sure you guys wasted some time somewhere, right? Where'd you waste some time at? You. Because I know you wasted some time somewhere, and I haven't even looked at your sketch. But I know you wasted some time. Did you finish your time?
Yes, I finished.
You sure?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You weren't like these other 3 over here that were still sketching after the buzzer rang?
I couldn't find a child.
So now in boxing, that's hitting after the bell.
Points.
That's usually a penalty for hitting after the bell. Okay.
My opponent was on the same page.
That's true. Your opponent was, you guys were hitting each other after the bell. Yes. That's too bad. That's too bad. All right. So the way it will work, you guys will have 3 minutes each to present. You'll present the work that you did today, which is all of your ortho views and then your rendering. What you will do is just talk through kind of the changes that happened from your original design and what areas that you improved from what you originally submitted to today. So you'll have about 3 minutes to do that, yes.
Is everything off the screen, or are we going to be bringing our
Everything you gave to which I have be scanned in and into the section you can talk about.
Do we have to vote or someone else take it first?
No, you can control it and test it. Okay. Any other questions?
We go 1 through 8, but whatever numbers you pick.
The order that we drew this morning, that's the order we're going in. No questions? Good? Okay, so who's up first? Oh, thank these people. The good people are responsible for you being here. So EDCO is our brand partner in China. The winner will get a chance to fly to China for about a week and be a part of an experience that we'll have in China. It's actually pretty cool if you saw what Chris did and his experience over there. It'll be a similar type setting. And then Vibram, who is right upstairs, but they're the outsole maker. So some of these outsoles you guys are doing is going to scare them when they see it. But as I told you guys before, that's your job. Your job is to put pressure on your developers to try harder, to try things new. They expect you to try things new all the time. So you should expect the same thing from your developers and your engineers and your marketing people. Don't let them settle on giving you guys the same way to making things, the same way of marketing things, if they're expecting you to do something new every single time. I think it's fair that you expect the same thing they expect of you. Obviously, Foot Locker, so the winning design will then be sold at Foot Locker. Tomorrow, we'll actually have a visit from some key executives from Foot Locker tomorrow evening. So we'll get a chance to see you guys' work, say hi a little bit. But they've been a huge supporter of what we're doing and pushing it, and it's going to be fun to kind of see, for you guys, one of you guys, to see your product on the shelf. And then lastly, Wacom, who you guys will get a chance to use that equipment soon. Hopefully you guys are up to speed on it yesterday. Hopefully you got up to speed on it yesterday. But no, they've been huge in the process of really supplying product for the next generation of creatives. You know, what's amazing about Wacom product is that it's pretty rare you can walk into a design studio and not see a Wacom product in there. But they have, it's almost like they do it in silence though. It's like they do it in silence, where you have the Apple logo which screams at you all the time on commercials and marketing, and then you have Wacom just sitting there quietly getting the job done. So what we're trying to do, and one of the reasons why we're working with them, is to try to shed light on the fact that they're already in these design studios, and this is how the equipment's being used. And you guys will all get some pretty nice Wacom prizes each round, which is great. So our goal is to try to make connections with partners that are strategic in the sense that they are an integral part of the process and making this whole thing come to life instead of some random soft drink company. Even though maybe like 5 Hour Energy would be a good partner, or Red Bull or something. Keep you guys away. But or Bud Light. I don't know about Bud Light, but there's a lot of microbrewers here, so I don't drink beer, so I don't know what beer does. Does it give you energy?
No.
I think it goes in reverse, right?
It numbs the pain.
It numbs the pain? Oh, okay. All right. So I think you're up first, right? Oh, yeah, that's right. You deferred.
Yeah.
That's right. You deferred. Okay. Let's get the remote. Let me see if Shannon's up first. You're going to use the green button. Oh, the one that's not green. The red one.
We can see that.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going up.
Try that arrow.
It's back to Jen.
Okay, wait. So when you guys get up there, introduce yourself, where you're from, and whatever other tidbits you want to let people know about you. Whatever other fact you would want people to know. Now, not too embarrassing.
Okay.
Go on that side. Go on that side. Go on the opposite side of the screen.
No, don't click.
Okay.
Move.
Just had to come to here, and it's very exciting to me. So, and today is very tough day to draw all view and do rendering. So, today my work is to adjust the whole shoes because the first shoes I draw, the core is too small, so I become too bigger. And the second is my top catch. You also to sing, so I change it to more thicker. So my biggest change is my color because yesterday Wednesday my color is to normal, so I changed to this shape, and I also want to this shape can enhance the stability on the player's ankle. So I choose this shape, and it's a medium view. This is my final render. So
I add some orange sauce dust on my laces, and I want to let people see my shoes and knows how my lace is growing and how to work. So that's why I add some orange dust on my laces. So it's gonna work. Thanks.
All right. Yeah. All right. What's up, everyone? I'm Matthew Vaughn from Kingston, Jamaica. Lifetime athlete, lifetime getting hurt. That's like that. So my shoe, what I was working on with Dwayne yesterday was really just details, trying to add details to my upper that didn't compete too much with my soles, as that's the focus of my design. So, and then working on like functional shaped things, like I was talking about earlier with the way the last being in the shoe would affect the shape of my collar. The shoe itself is inspired by the last, which is making the shoe. So that's how we get the break, that circular piece on the lateral side. And then he was also trying to push me to do more with my medial side. So I used made it get some good separation along with the element that carried from the lateral side over into the medial side, and then tying down into the sole. Yeah. If you're wondering about all the holes, the idea is for it to be perforated leather, but it would be similar to what Adidas used to do, where the colorways can change the materials. Final under. I feel like it came out pretty good. Shut up today. Speak.
Okay. Hello. Hi, Mom. Oh, see it. It's not me.
I'm number 8.
I defer to you.
Alright.
What's up, everybody? My name is Zia Ahmad. I am from San Francisco, California. This proportions. It was a little too fat below, and the ankle collar was a little too skinny. So I went back and sort of redid some of that. And also it had a great look to it, as what Wayne said, but it lacked some functionality. The concept behind my sneaker was like secret agent, James Bond, Kingsman, things of that nature. So the overall concept is to have an item or a product that has sort of like a mainstream or sort of a more traditional appearance, but then hiding some tech or performance or interesting sort of details within the shoe itself. So for the lateral, it can do two things that are sort of secrets. One, the ankle collar on top. You can sort of see on this left image here how it pops up. So you sort of pull the heel tab and it'll pop up. And in the middle image here, it says eyelet reveal. So like right underneath here, there's actually a pulled up piece that has eyelets in it. And then you can actually lace it, and that's the image there. So just hiding and sort of creating these interesting performance elements to the shoe. And then the medial as well. These all here are little slits within the material, and then the actual laces can sort of go through there, sort of creating an eyelet. But at the same time, the visual stands without it. So the laces are sort of an interesting, unique look, but it's not necessary. And then you can sort of see the green pieces up there that's sort of highlighting the differences between sort of the main shoe and other variations of it. This is the top-down view, and this is the top-down view with laces, which are optional again. There's the rear view. There's the outsole, just looking at ways to sort of have these high-variation rubbers in more durable or necessary areas, but having sort of more of a dress shoe sort of overall visual. And that's, I don't have a color image apparently. But here was Melbourne, so. Awesome, thanks guys.
So, hi everyone, named Noah Melcher from Newport News, Virginia. Went to school at NC State. Rear area. I had it pretty dynamic with tooling that was pretty low profile, but it would cause the original design to be double lasted and would be harder for production. So I brought it up to higher height on the new one, and then that forced me to switch up the visual as well with the upper. So I had to do a little bit of tweaking, and I ended up making it a little bit more organic, making the whole upper flow more with the outsole and be more cohesive. And then that actually works with my medial side. Just like having something that is very three-dimensional, that you look around at all different angles, and it's something different each time you look at it. So the top view is pretty asymmetrical with its lacing and the way that the paneling is broken up between the medial and lateral. So it's going to have some interesting color blocking opportunities there. And then the heel view, I also added like a little dip as well, so that it's not going to be rubbing against the Achilles. And then the outsole, again, continuing that flow that I have throughout the design. Something that kind of gives a forward-looking momentum to it, like a wing in flight. I think making the shapes and arms more organic really plays up to that. So, yeah.
All right, round two. Hello, my name is Julius, or for my Polish speakers, my name is Juliusz. The ankle collar portion being asymmetrical is a change I decided to make after doing kilometer basically. No, but I think it creates a cool duality of sides. So this would be my lateral view. So the asymmetrical collar creates this kind of interesting side to side. But also, if you look at the rear view, the asymmetry kind of creates a natural full tap. So it's kind of just thought you could put your thumb right there. Beyond that, I also slightly redid the midsole tooling area just to create a better flow and a few more lines in the midsole area. Beyond that, I finally actually did do my medial view. So in order to create a little bit of difference in the ways that the strapping system goes through, I created a TPU kind of like wing that comes up in the arch area to differentiate it from the going through the leather part on the initial. And then finally, I used a medical grade Velcro to replace the button snap on the rear strapping area to provide adjustability for people with different sized feet and things like that. So this is my final render. Yeah, not too much else to say besides that, so that's pretty much wraps it up. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jungkook. I'm from South Korea. This is my lateral view. That yesterday they told me that there's the band like here. These parts, I need to be more. I need to make it more functional, right? So I changed the race system, like the band system. So it wraps around the. It start from here over top to go into this part and then wrap around the feet. And yeah, this is a video view. And also, Dwayne told me that the upper pattern, the original design was kind of busy, so I made it simple. So I just put some simple straight lines, a little bit curved, but mainly it's the straight line. So I did a simple upper design. So this is the top view, and this is the kill, and this is the bottom. I wasted uh, uh, many times for this the pattern. Yeah. So this is my rendering. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Caleb Choi. I was born in Hong Kong and raised in Chicago. Happy to be here, and today I'm going to show you guys the design. All right, so we are looking at the lateral view of the outline work. So a lot of the inspiration is taken from my past. So there's also a lot of iterations that was done today. From Dwayne's feedback, there was kind of, in general, the whole form just didn't really fit into realistic production standards. So there was a lot of things that are made. So this is the Whenever we jump around here. Top view, it's asymmetry. Lanyard, or the strap that kind of goes around and then wraps around the burrito construction of the upper. And then in the back is where the opening, we had a lot of conversations today with the team just to talk about like how we can create that wrap and have the translucency shown on the lateral side, but at the same time, still have it manufacturable. So the way we did it was kind of like this cutout that kind of recessed in, and the tab kind of wraps around, comes through, and then wrap around to the side. And here is the outsole, and the story here is actually for each line is the amount of years I've been in the States. So I've been in the States for 17 years now, and where the pencil is actually 2013, where I attended pencil, and that story kind of is taken to the upper as well. So here's kind of the rendering. This one is going to be a lot more telling because of the color and translucency. As you can see, the wrapper that I talked about, it's kind of like a translucent reveal as it goes through, and then it wraps around to the top, and then wraps around the burrito top. And then the top three lines here kind of corresponds to the outsole. So shortly after attending pencil, I kind of went into the professional world, quote unquote. So I've been working for 3 years now. So that's where the three stripes kind of come into play. As we look at kind of the embroidery that's kind of happening right here, it's actually inspired by 90s Hong Kong film. So Mr. Vampire, for those that are familiar. So Qing Dynasty inspired embroidery and how I can kind of implement that. And then the stance up the back and the whole proportion is inspired by a lot of higher end fashion, where it's kind of pushing beyond the last itself, a lot more weight from the front and the back. So definitely a less athletic approach. And in the front, what you see kind of is actually a sunk footbed. Yesterday the conversation was you got to bring in the translucency to really make that sing. So that's kind of new development. So pretty happy to be where I'm at right now. Thank you.
Hello everybody, I'm Bao from Hong Kong Polytechnic University, and here's my second time in pencil. So this is my lateral view, and after the discussion today, I started changing the sole shape a little bit to make it like, first it's more producible, it's easy to produce, and also I changed the area, the curve of this area, so make it more comfortable when you wear it and when you walk on the shoe. And also, so after the sole was changed, the whole color block is also affected, and I'm designs, laser cutting the World Sneaker Championship word on the front tip of this shoe. And yeah, this is the back view. And so the two logos, the World Sneaker Championship logo and pencil logo, are on different on each side of the heel, and you can also see the pencil logo on the heel tab. Yeah, this is the front view, so basically the same. You can see the words laser cutted, and you can also see the strap. So I added something on the outsole, so you can see from both view. Here's a curve here, so that means the outsole is going. This area is going inside a little bit, so you can see the shoelaces is getting pumped out by the sole. So the special lacing system is like more exaggerated and more obvious for people to see it. And also the pattern, the outer pattern is inspired also by my theme. It's a city impression theme, and you can see the pencil logo just fit inside the gap and the vibrant logo here. Yeah, this is my final rendering. Yeah. So you can see the color bulb is changing from the original. You guys.
You're gonna change it? All right, so good job. Have a seat. Thanks, man. All right, so we're gonna make a quick change so we can get Zia's rendering up. So you can show your rendering. But for those of you who didn't see the other people's work, what do you guys think?
I saw everybody's.
You can walk around. Oh, so you wasted time walking around?
It was like 5 minutes on 8 hours.
So now I'm looking at these critically. So I can tell you consistently what I saw on a lot of things. A lot of you didn't include the branding, both Vibram as well as pencil, on the bottom of your outsoles, on the profiles of your outsoles. So that was somewhat consistent. A few of you had that. A few of you didn't have ground lines on your sketches. Physical line at the bottom that shows where the shoe starts off at. The templates that we gave you had ground lines. They had ground lines. Okay. Let's see, some sketching, some stitching, some missing sketches, some missing stitching, some shape issues with some of your proportions and orthos. So the orthos got a little lost on the heel views, top views got lost. Some was incomplete. There was some incomplete work where you guys gotta pay attention to every single detail. Every single detail. So I'm looking at it through a different lens than other people, maybe wild by shapes and pretty renderings and all that. Like, I'm not looking at any of that. I'm looking at straight up, can I make a pattern out of this product? Can I make a pattern out of this product? And some of them I couldn't. Some of them I couldn't. So the good thing is this is day one. Okay? This is day one. So it's gonna get better. It has to get better. So not it's gonna get better, it has to get better. But as much as this is about creating a functionally sound, great product, it has to work. And it has to be, you have to be able to hand over this information to someone to create a pattern from it, to build this product for you. And so I saw some of that missing, but that's okay. It's day one. We better make it up tomorrow, on day two. Okay? John, are you ready for Zia? Yeah, just so you can show your rendering, just because it wasn't there, just make sure you have, people can see your rendering. You put in the time to do it, so make sure that you get a chance to show it. Can you get the light? Thanks. Thank you.
So yeah, so this is the final rendering, and then the inspiration, like I said before, was a lot of sort of like vintage like James Bond and secret agent movies. One of which a huge part is having like these like really vintage green sort of like Jaguars. It's a little bit of the green that I've got here. I was sort of bringing some of that in, and then the heel tab is sort of like a natural leather, which is inspired by like you know, handcrafted British briefcases. To sort of bring a little bit of a touch into that, and then just sort of the overall sort of like mentality of like a secret agent in general is sort of like really, really focused, honed in on exactly what they're doing. So I wanted to sort of bring in a little bit of that and some of the lines, and so it's sort of the way to sort of go across the upper. There's not a lot going on. It's pretty simple. It's uninterrupted, and it's really focused on completing whatever the mission is. So cool. That's that. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Sorry about the mix up there. Okay, so day one is down. You know, this is, you consider this a combine, as if you're an athlete and you're going to a combine to have people rate your skills and what you can do. You all have talent. You wouldn't be here if you weren't talented. But it's how you use it is going to be your separation point. How you use that talent is going to be the separation point. And what we're trying to do in here this week is get you to understand the proper way of how to use your talent, into how to use your skills that you have. Okay? So day one is down. You guys can breathe and go get something to eat finally, besides some granola cups. But get some. Were they good though? They look good when I got them from Costco. I didn't taste them, but they looked like they'd be all right. They were good.
That's all. That's all.
But yeah, go get some rest. Rest up for tomorrow morning. Same drill. Get here by as early as 8:15. We'll start at 8:45 and be ready to not eat again. Tomorrow's going to be quite possibly a longer day, mentally. Quite possibly. You'll find out when you walk in tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it'll be on the leaderboard.
Yeah. All right. All right. Thank you guys. Good day today.